All right. So welcome everybody. First Tech Challenge in Northeast Florida is going to be awesome this year. There's been a lot done to make sure that we can accommodate as many teams as possible and that everybody has the best possible time playing the most matches that a team can get in the First Tech Challenge this year, given the changes to the statewide model. So we were going to do a little bit of introductions, but since this is recording, we're going to breeze through it. We have a really great community with First Tech Challenge over here, and we really want to make sure that everybody gets to know each other. So when you're at events, we're going to try and carve out a couple minutes for the coaches to interact directly with one another, share secrets, and we really just want you guys to have a good time with this season. Speaking of which, this is our season as it stands right now. We all know that the kickoff got canceled at Jacksonville University, so that kickoff has essentially been rescheduled for this weekend, September 23rd at West Nassau County High School. We're hoping that our next scrimmage workshop event, hey Brandy, how are you doing? Or Ellie Brand, sorry, Brandy at Duval Schools. That our next is Orange Park Junior High School, but we may need to find another venue. As it stands right now, we're looking into Mandarin High School in Jacksonville, Florida, and Bishop Kenny in Jacksonville, or maybe Forest High School in Gainesville for getting our meet 1 or 2 done. And we've got a lot of people looking out for us for making sure that event happens according to plan. The last 3 events that we've got on our regular season calendar make it so that if we have 2 or 3 leagues in play, that each league can play at least twice. Our goal is for all the leagues to have 10 season matches before they go into the league championship. If we have 3 leagues, we will be able to make sure that this is the case. Or if we have 2 leagues, then we're just going to cut one of the events from the schedule. Any questions can be emailed to amy@rjax.org. That's amy@rjax.org. Just so you know, large committee helping to manage FTC this year. Amy is our committee chair. Say hey, Amy.
Hey, guys.
Joined by Joe Terso, Amber Kitata, Alejandro Lepervanche, Elizabeth Vogel, Jonathan Frias, Eric Weatherford, John Strand, Ryan O'Toole, Joe Del Castillo, Todd Wheeler, Lisa Terso, Lolita Gerstenberger. Ben Sanders is helping out quite a bit. Ellie Brand is helping out quite a bit. Scott Givanetti, he came from South Florida, and now he's helping run the Northeast Florida League. Our first senior mentor from Lake City is Selena Cruz. A lot of you guys remember her from last year, working with us at Renaissance Jax. We've got representing UNF CCEC Outreach, Kathy Carswell. She's been involved in First Lego League for 5-6 years, and now she's helping out with First Tech Challenge. We got Charity Higbee helping out on the Renaissance Jax side, making sure that everybody gets the information that they need from us. And Mark, speaking right now, I'm helping out, just mostly consulting with the league, and Renaissance Jax is helping with the running the league's finances, which we have to have a nonprofit do so. And JU, our official education partner, they are helping to make sure that your students have as much opportunity to get involved with your scholarship. They have a $100,000 scholarship plan, and we'll be rolling out later this fall a program called the Da Vinci Fellowship, which is going to see high school juniors and seniors have major opportunities for community engagement, community service, extra scholarship opportunities, and more ability to work with mentors on projects that they can put on their resume and gain meaningful real-world experience from. More on that later. For communications, we've got a number of platforms that we've started to use with a lot of success this year. I'm going to talk about Meetup first because that's how we announce all of our events to the public. We're trying to get more public viewpoints into all of North Florida's first events. And specifically for FTC, it's good because we really, that has been the youngest first group to come out of the woodwork up here. And we really want more companies, more sponsors to come and see us. We want more people from the community to just come check us out because the more people see us, hear us, interact with us, the easier it'll be for our teams to get sponsorship, industry tours, and more opportunities for better engagement with our community. We're using Zoom right now to record and broadcast this webinar, and it's been a really good thing for us this year. All of our training is being put on Schoology. We have a number of trainings available for free on there that have been sourced from other regions that have been doing it right. And FIRST has an amazing portfolio of trainings available through that online learning management system. If you're interested in doing any kind of programming boot camp for your people, your teammates, your teachers, there's a self-guided tour that will get you from knowing nothing to being able to dive right in and make your robot move all on Schoology. The last thing I want to talk about that's at the top is called groupme, which we have invited all coaches to. If we can, we're going to do another round of invitations just to make sure that everybody gets on there. It's just a way for coaches to communicate with each other. It's a way for us to post up-to-the-minute updates about events so that everything is as live as possible. We don't want to rely just on email this year because it's not in the moment. So with that, we're going to go to the next slide. If you didn't know, there have been a lot of statewide changes for First Tech Challenge. Chief among them, that there's not a requirement that teams submit a team video in order to advance to the league championship or the state championship. That's great because a lot of teams, our league is taking the stance that if you are a team planning on going to the league or state championship, it is a wise thing to do as a point of communicating with the other teams who've never seen before what your team's capabilities are, who you are, the fact that you're serious and here to play. And really, it's a great way for your team to do some self-reflection on who they are and be able to tell their story to the world. Also, it's a great marketing tool to get fundraising going. There is not a statewide ranking system anymore. This is helpful because in the last 3 years since North Florida has been a league, the top 24 teams in the state typically come from the Hillsborough area, Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete, and South Florida. They got powerhouse legacy teams, lots of sponsorship, a history of dominance, and typically teams from those areas wind up on the World Festival stage at the end of every season. They're good. They're hard to beat. So now each league is going to be ranked only within themselves. That means that you're only going to be playing against the teams within your league, and every league that has a league championship is going to have a presence at the state tournament, which right now is slated for February 3rd in Jacksonville. One other change this year is that there will be no formal notebook judging at the events until league championship. There will be, however, an opportunity for teams to get some feedback from some volunteers who will know what the notebook judging criteria will be for the championship for each league. There will be nothing having to do with their ranking or formal scoring at those events. That said, there will also be no awards given out at those meets. It's gameplay only. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be able to get in and out 6 hours or less. None of these knockdown, drag out 8 a.m. to 5:30 or 6 p.m. events leading up to championship, which we can all be very happy about. Locally, as we said at the beginning of this presentation, we have an entirely new league management team. To put this in perspective, last year, we ran the numbers. There were only 7 volunteers who were at every single event on a purely volunteer basis. We had plenty of coaches helping out on the day of, but from a we're going to get this done perspective, there was only 7 people. And then we had stragglers, event day of volunteers, maybe one-offs here and there. That is so different from where we're at this year. This year we have 17 dedicated people who have been routinely putting in, and an additional 12 to 15 individuals who are on the periphery of that group of 17. And outside of that, we have people getting lined up from corporations looking to put volunteer hours in a First Tech Challenge. They can help make this league the best that it's ever been, which we can all be very happy about. That said, we are still looking for a couple people who want to step up to be referees and who want to be judges for the league championships. If you have names of people who would like to step up, we would love for you to email them to amy@rjax.org. She will feed those names to our volunteer coordinator, Joe Terso, and he will get them plugged in to our volunteer management system. As you saw in one of the first slides, we have a pre-planned event schedule. And as it stands right now, we have 16 registered teams in our North Florida region with a likelihood of a guarantee of 16 additional teams and a stretch goal of probably close to 40 total teams in North Florida. If we hit 40 teams, we're likely to have a league of 16 and 2 leagues of 12 playing across the 5 events, where each league will have a total of 3 opportunities to play out of the 5 events. If we only have 2 leagues, we're only going to do 4 meets, and each league will have their own league championship. Each league will have their own league championship, regardless of if there's 2 or 3 leagues, and each league will send teams to state championship. We can have up to 48 teams in the 3 leagues with 3 leagues of 16 teams each. Amy, do you have anything to say on top of that?
We'll be dividing them regionally.
We will be dividing the teams regional, which means that Clay County will be their own league regardless of what happens. The other teams will be divided up along geographic lines, and we're going to try as we can cater to the travel dates that the teams who are coming from the furthest distances have to deal with this year. We're trying to be as fair and balanced as possible and take every consideration from every team into consideration. That said, we know that we cannot please every single person, but we're going to try within reason. We concocted a practice format that was designed to give our volunteers maximum exposure and give our team maximum time to get ready for the season. And here's what we came up with. Now, this is a shame given that we had a hurricane destroy our first kickoff event, but we were hoping to make it so that the morning is for volunteers and training, that the afternoon is targeted at teamwork. We still have a similar format for this weekend upcoming, which Amy sent out in a great email earlier this week and last week, iterating that our Saturday sketch has teams showing up at 9 and a informational program session going from 10 to about 11:30 or noon. We take a lunch break, and there's 4 team workshops. They'll be provided 3 times, and the kids get to pick which 3 workshops they want on that day. One of the best things that we're doing is making sure that all of our volunteers are engaged with our students so that they know just as much about the game this year as the teams do, so that we can make sure that each event runs as smoothly as possible. We had started along the lines of coming up with a little bit of a rule book for the league so that all teams know what to expect when they show up to events. These were some goals that we had presented at the coach orientation back in August at UNF, and all of them are up for discussion. There's not been any hard decisions made, but we want feedback from you guys. The goals, kind of bylaws and thoughts, are to make sure that our event quality goes up and the issues go down, and that everybody gets to have more fun and more time to play, and we can all leave on time and early.
And build better robots.
And build better robots. Some of these rules coincide with the rule changes that first was making to promote robot quality. I'm sure everybody heard over the last week or so that we have done away with a lengthy post-autonomous scoring period, which means that as soon as autonomous is over, you're playing. There's a 5-second gap in between autonomous and teleop mode this year, and that means that our events are going to go a lot faster. Hallelujah. We are hoping that by the later part of the season, we know the case when we first start, but by the second or third meet, teams pretty much need to be ready to demonstrate that their robot can move by the time they walk in the door. We don't feel like that is an extension of what a team should be able to do, because we've had so many workshops and there's so many resources available for teams this year, so many opportunities for Skype calls with our experts, that we should be able to have all your programming problems solved before you get to the event. We know that kids are going to show up with a box of parts at this first event on Saturday and at the next event, and potentially at the first real meet. We want to get it all before the season really gets going. Our goal is to get the matches started between 10:30 and 11 a.m. so that we can at least have 1 full solid hour of gameplay before lunch happens at every event. And we are pushing for a goal that all teams provide 2 event day volunteers, or hopefully some of them could be a referee the whole league, or similar to how other sports models do, you have to pay in order to offset the cost of having us go out and find extra volunteers. All other legitimate sports organizations that serve youth and run them with volunteers all have volunteering requirements for each team. Robotics is now seen as a competitive youth sport, and therefore we need to make sure that we have enough what? In a what? Sorry for that. Robotics is a competitive sport, just like baseball, basketball, football, and we need a similar volunteer base. That's the point of this. We're not trying to penalize teams ineffectively. We're not trying to suggest that people just pay. We're not looking. It doesn't even have to be parents. These could be high school kids that want to be part of the team and want to come in and get volunteer service hours. This is a great way for kids to get volunteer service hours out of the way. We have plenty of opportunities for things like field reset, queuing, registration, concessions, just looking around and passing papers. We need help with referees, and we need help with judging. We need people to do robot inspection in the morning, load in and load out. There's no shortage of volunteer positions that are easy. And we're just trying to promote a culture where everybody helps. Coach calls and workshops. 9 days prior to an official event. That's the Thursday before the weekend, before an event. That gives you plenty of time to get with your team to institute changes. We're going to have a phone call ready for coaches to ask questions. And it's a time for our league management team to go over any changes or anything last minute prior to getting to the event. We see this as a team quality and event quality initiative that's going to help our league stand out this year. And again, if you have ideas for workshops that you want as a coach, send your questions and comments to amy@rjax.org. The tentative details for state championship, February 2nd and 3rd at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. There will likely be, based on feedback from Hans Wolf, our state affiliate partner, 32 teams in attendance. There's a volunteer need of about 150 in order to make that event run. It's a great way to catalyze our region's program growth. And we already have teams telling us that they're signing up to volunteer whether or not they make it to championship. It's going to be fun. And on the same day, at the same time, we're going to have our first LEGO League regional championship on the other side of the Prime Osborne. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be great. We're going to get corporate sponsors. We're going to have a full production staff helping make it happen. It's really going to be a chance for North Florida to shine. It's going to look like a micro-sized version of the First World Festival. We definitely want to give a big shout out to Kathy Carswell from UNF. She's been, like I said, with us from the very beginning. And there's her email address if you want to send her a request for support. Your students are great, and they help out every year with the All First program. And Kathy would love to have your team on campus for a tour. We showed this same presentation at our coaches orientation, and we broke for lunch. That is the end of our program. So for the recording, we just want to say thank you very much. And Amy, do you have anything that you'd like to impress upon everybody before we let them go for the recording?
I would just like to encourage everybody to get on Meetup so you can know what we're doing. We're posting everything there. And watch the Google surveys that come through. That helps us plan better for our events. And if you guys can be consistent in giving us feedback, then that will help us meet your needs better. And that's truly what one of our biggest goals are this season.
Great. So with that, I'm going to go and unmute all of our people and open the floor for any questions. We have 6 whole people on the call. Any questions, anybody?
Not for me, Mark. This is Russ.
Can you tell me how to get on Schoology for the self-guided programming tour?
I can look for it real quick. Angie, how about it?
Yeah.
And we will make sure that we send a follow-up email with a link.
Okay, perfect.
And that's